I was reading this Eurogamer article. They did an interview for PlayStation's 30th anniversary with Shawn Layden, the former chairman of PlayStation Worldwide Studios. And I just wanted to go over and talk about, what he said, because he said a few things about basically where he thought the industry was going, what its current state is like, and what he would like to see improved in the future. And I thought it was pretty interesting. So one of the things that was talked about was how the new console generations aren't bringing in new users, or at least not as many as previous generations. The gaming industry is only selling to people who have been gamers, who have been playing games since like PS3, PS4 era or stuff like that, but the newer generations aren't bringing in new gamers. The gist of it was that we were losing the next generation to TikTok, and he explained that in order to address this issue and tackle this head on, one of the things that needs to happen is that game dev needs to start becoming less expensive. Because right now, as it stands, especially with AAA gaming, dev costs are through the roof. It is just ludicrously expensive. Like, we're talking PS5 games. In the article, it says eventually they could be reaching up to 300 to 400 million in production costs, and that's before marketing, and that's for one game. He explains that that's just outright not sustainable, and he said that, in order to capture this newer generation, one of the things he suggested was that we make the games shorter. He suggested basically just have a game that's like 25 hours instead of 90 to 100 hours, but those 25 hours you don't ever want to put down the controller. For example, he gave Red Dead Redemption 2 as an example that he hasn't even bothered opening the game because he doesn't have 90 hours. Basically, the gist is that he thinks games are too long. I honestly do agree to an extent with what Shawn is saying here about how, the newer generation, the TikTok generation, so to speak, would sort of look at a 90 to 100 hour game and be like, there's no way I'm gonna even try to play this. Like, it's just, I'm not gonna be able to finish it. So they might get turned off by that, and they'll just go back to short-term gratification stuff. So I understand where he's coming from, where it's like, okay, we can kill two birds with one stone here. We can lower the costs of game dev, which are rising to unsustainable levels, and by making games shorter, we can also appeal to the newest generation and bring more people in to the gaming industry who have never really bothered to play games before, or AAA story games, things like that. And I read some comments on the article about basically how people are saying, oh, well, he just wants that because that means he can make more money per game. Like, they can spend less time and money making a game, and they can release more games, and that way they can make more money. And I mean, that's a fair thing to say, but honestly, if the quality of the games doesn't decrease, I don't really mind that too much, to be totally honest. Now, you would have to draw a line. You couldn't basically do, I don't know, let's imagine if they released GTA 6, like the story mode of GTA 6 came out. Imagine if they released it in parts. Like, imagine there was part 1, part 2, 3, and then 4. The 4 different parts for one game. Like, that would be pretty obnoxious, right? I think we can all agree that would be pretty obnoxious. So I think there has to be a line drawn in the sand where, to make sure that something like that doesn't occur, and because that would just be such a pain in the ass to deal with. Oh my god, you basically have to buy the same game in parts, which would be really annoying. So I hope to god it never comes to that, but I do kind of agree with him. I do think some games maybe are a little too long. Some games are like 60 hours that could honestly be condensed into like 30 hours because half of the game is just doing repeat side quests. Like, I think he makes a fair point, and about drawing in the newest generation. Again, like, if I'm a fucking TikTok addicted 12-year-old, I'm not gonna try and play like something like The Witcher 3 or Baldur's Gate. You kidding me? Those games, there's so many mechanics in those games, and it's 90 hours. I'm not doing that. Are you insane? Now, I don't think we should just cold turkey 100-hour games altogether. Me personally, I still feel like there's a niche for that. It is kind of like obnoxious that, like, I wouldn't want every single AAA game to be like a 90-hour plus game. You know, that's just unnecessary, but also I wouldn't want every AAA game to come out and be like a 25-hour game, you know. It would be nice to have some very long RPGs. And yeah, I understand his argument about, yeah, I haven't even bothered playing Red Dead 2 because I don't have 90 hours, but you don't finish it in like one sitting. You don't play it for 3 months straight to finish it. No, this is it's a hobby. It's something you do in your free time. It's not a job. You just do it slowly but surely over time. And you know what the best part is? You don't even have to finish it if you don't want to. Like, I know, like, a crazy concept. I know you don't actually have to finish games. Like, if you're just not engaged by it or you just don't really have the time, you don't have to finish it. Basically, Shawn Layden, he makes some very valid points. I don't think he should be written off, like, what he's saying shouldn't be written off as just, oh, well, he just wants to make more money. Don't we all? But he makes some fair points. However, honestly, I still think that there's a niche for like 90+ hour games. I don't think that every single AAA game should be a 90+ hour game. But at the same time, I don't think we should all of a sudden start going like, all right, we're going to start making 20 to 25 hour AAA games. Even if they are good quality hours. I mean, dude, sometimes I just want to play like a 90-hour RPG. But again, also a counterpoint to that is, yeah, but the costs are becoming unsustainable. Like, you want your 100-hour plus RPG, okay, but it's going to cost you $500 million to produce. And that's just, that if that keeps going up, that's just not going to be sustainable, because then we're just going to get literally no games. Like, we're going to get basically no games for the console generations. We've already been getting no games for consoles, no exclusive games at least. But, like, it's definitely, these rising costs have definitely thinned out the herd, so to speak. So that is really the one thing that could just absolutely kill very long games, is just the cost of them if that keeps going up. But I would certainly like to hear your opinions on it. What do you think? Do you think it's best that we just stick to the path we're on right now? Just more hours is good. AAA games should be at like a baseline would be at least 50 hours, something like that. Or should we maybe look at, okay, well, the prices, the dev costs are through the roof here. And as a result, we're getting less variety. Maybe we should be more tolerant towards 20 to 25-hour games, or maybe even less, so long as the quality doesn't take a nosedive and we don't get obnoxious, like, part 1, part 2, part 3 sort of deals, because that would be a worst-case scenario. I would not be a very happy camper if that were to occur. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Thanks for everything, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. And until the next one, take care.